Unlocking your hidden leadership blueprint today. Imagine for a moment. You are standing on a stage, but there is no audience. The lights are off. The chairs are empty. The microphone is silent. You look around and you feel nothing is happening. And yet in your hand you are holding a key. This key is not shiny gold, not heavy silver, not something that you can sell or buy. This key is invisible, but it is real. It is yours. This key is the key to yourself. You see, most people believe leadership comes from outside. They believe it comes when you get a big title, when you have a big company, when you are sitting in a big chair with many people working for you. They think leadership is about position. They think leadership is about power. But I will tell you the truth. Leadership is not something you wait for. Leadership is not something someone gives you. Leadership is something that is already inside you. It is hidden. It is silent. It is waiting. And the key in your hand, that is the decision to open it. When I was young, nobody believed I could become anything. I failed exam. I was rejected by school. I was rejected by jobs. I applied to 30 jobs and all rejected me. Even KFC rejected me. Out of 24 people, 23 were hired, and I was the only one rejected. I felt useless. I felt invisible. But deep down there was a voice inside me. It said, Jack, you have something, but you must unlock it. At that time, I did not know what that something was. I did not have money. I did not have connections. I did not have good grades. But I had a belief that if I keep searching for the key, one day I will find the door that belongs to me. And that's what leadership is. Leadership is not about being the best in the room. It is about being the one who dares to open the door inside yourself first, before anyone else. The problem is, most people never use the key. They carry it their whole life, but they never try to unlock anything. They are afraid of failing. They are afraid of looking stupid. They are afraid of losing face. So they keep the key in their pocket, and they keep living the same day again and again, waiting for someone else to unlock it for them. But let me tell you this. Nobody can unlock your leadership blueprint for you. Not your boss, not your teacher, not your parents, not even your mentor. Only you can. And the moment you use that key, something magical happens. You begin to see things differently. You begin to see yourself not as a follower, not as a victim, not as someone waiting for permission, but as someone who can take responsibility. You see, the hidden blueprint is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. When you unlock it, you start to realize you can choose your attitude. You can choose your response. You can choose your vision. You can choose your direction. And when you choose, people around you begin to notice. They feel your energy. They feel your confidence. That is the power of unlocking. Think of it this way. Inside every person, there is a map. This map is unique. It has lines, it has rows, it has paths. But the map is locked. And only when you use the key, the map begins to open once it opens from where you are supposed to go. You understand why you are here. You understand how to move forward. And people around you, they see you walking with clarity, and they follow. Not because you forced them, not because you shouted at them, but because they trust that you know the way. This is how hidden leadership becomes visible. Let me tell you another story. When I started Alibaba, we had no money. We had no technology. We had no resources. What we had was only a group of people sitting in my small apartment, drinking tea, dreaming about the future. Many people laughed at us. They said, Jack, you are crazy. You know nothing about the internet. You are not an engineer. You are not an expert. How can you build a company? And I told them, I don't need to know the internet. I just need to know people. I need to know how to inspire them, how to keep them moving, how to keep them believing when everything looks impossible. That is the blueprint. It was hidden in me. I did not know it was there when I was rejected by schools. I did not know it was there when I was rejected by jobs. But when I finally dared to use the key, when I dared to step forward, when I dared to take responsibility, that blueprint revealed itself. And it is the same for you. Inside you, right now, there is a hidden leadership blueprint. You may not see it yet, You may not believe it yet. You may even doubt it because people around you tell you that you are not ready, you are not smart enough, you are not experienced enough. But remember this, nobody is born ready. Nobody is born a leader. Leadership is not given by birth, it is unlocked by choice. Every single person has a key. The question is, will you use it today? Because leadership is not tomorrow. Leadership is today. When you decide to take action, when you decide to think differently, when you decide to encourage instead of criticize, when you decide to create instead of complain, you are already unlocking your blueprint. And the more you unlock it, the stronger it becomes. So today, my message to you is very simple. Stop looking outside for leadership. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you are a leader. Stop thinking you are too small, too weak, too ordinary. Take the key in your hand, look at it, and unlock the door inside yourself. Because once you do, you will discover that the greatest leader you could ever follow is the leader you already are. Leadership starts with self-awareness. Tell you something very important. The biggest mistake people make about leadership is thinking it starts with leading others. They believe if they can control a team, if they can manage a company, if they can direct people, then they are a leader. But this is not true. Leadership does not start with others. Leadership starts with you. And that means the first step of leadership is self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? It means you must know who you are before you try to tell others who they should be. It means you must understand your strengths and your weaknesses before you try to build on the strengths and weaknesses of others. If you do not know yourself, you cannot lead yourself. You cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead anybody else. When I was young, I had many weaknesses. I was not good at math. I was not good at technology. I was not from a rich family. I had no special connections. If I tried to compete with others in their strengths, I would always lose. Because there was always someone smarter than me, richer than me, faster than me. But then I learned something powerful. If I understand myself, if I know clearly what I can do and what I cannot do, then I can use my strengths wisely and find people who can cover my weaknesses. That is leadership. Self-awareness is not about perfection. It is about honesty. Most people don't want to face the truth about themselves. They hide their weaknesses. They pretend to be strong in everything. They want to look perfect. But let me tell you, pretending is not leadership. Pretending is insecurity. True leadership comes when you can say, yes, I am weak here, but I am strong here. When you can say, I don't know everything, but I know something, and I am willing to learn the rest. That honesty attracts trust. When I started Alibaba, I told my team, I know nothing about technology. I know nothing about coding. I know nothing about computers. But I know how to bring people together. I know how to inspire us to believe in the future. I know how to keep fighting even when things look impossible. That was my strength. And because I knew my strength, I also knew my weakness. I told my team, you are better than me in technology. You are better than me in finance. You are better than me in operations. But together I can lead us to believe in our vision. That is my role. This is self-awareness in action. Let me give you an example. Think about a ship. If the captain does not know where the ship is strong and where the ship is weak, the ship will sink. If the captain knows the ship cannot survive a storm, then the captain must choose a safe route. If the captain knows the ship is strong in calm waters, he must take advantage of that. You are the captain of your life. You must know your ship. Most people go through life without understanding themselves. They follow the crowd. They copy others. They compare themselves every day. They forget to ask the most important question. Who am I? But the moment you start asking that question, you begin to unlock your leadership blueprint. Let me tell you what self-awareness gives you. First, self-awareness gives you clarity. When you know who you are, you stop wasting energy trying to be someone else. You stop chasing other people's dreams. You stop competing in a game that is not yours. You focus on your own race. Second, self-awareness gives you confidence. Confidence does not come from being the best at everything. Confidence comes from knowing exactly where you stand. When you know your strengths, you can use them fully. When you know your weaknesses, you can manage them wisely. Third, self-awareness gives you growth. Once you admit your weaknesses, you open the door to learning. You stop hiding, you start improving. Every day you become better, not by pretending to be perfect, but by being honest about what you must work on. Think about a tree. A tree grows tall, not because it tries to become another tree. A tree grows tall because it is aware of its own roots. It knows how deep it must go. It knows how strong it must be at the bottom before it reaches high at the top. Leadership is the same. Without roots of self-awareness, your leadership will fall with the first storm. I will tell you something very personal. When I was younger, I was ashamed of my English. My accent was different. My grammar was poor. Many people laughed at me. But instead of hiding, I became aware that this was my weakness. So I practiced. I talked with tourists. I guided visitors for free, just to practice. Over time, this weakness became one of my strengths because it allowed me to connect with the world. This is the power of self-awareness. When you face your weakness, honestly, you can transform it. Some people ask me, Jack, how do I find my leadership style? And I always tell them, don't copy others. Find yourself first. You cannot be Steve Jobs. You cannot be Elon Musk. You cannot be Jack Ma. You can only be you. And that is your greatest power. Leadership is not about being somebody else. Leadership is about being the most authentic version of yourself. Let me give you 3 practices to develop self-awareness. Number 1, reflection. Every day, take time to ask yourself, what did I do well today? What did I fail at today? What did I learn today? Reflection is the mirror of the mind. Without reflection, you cannot see yourself clearly. Number 2, ask people around you, your friends, your team, your family, what they see in you. Sometimes we are blind to ourselves. Other people can show us the truth. But you must be humble enough to listen. Number 3, acceptance. Don't fight who you are. Don't reject your flaws. Don't deny your weaknesses. Accept them. Because only when you accept, you can improve. These 3 practices will make your self-awareness stronger every day. Now, let me warn you. Self-awareness is not easy. It is uncomfortable. It requires you to look at parts of yourself you may not like. It requires you to admit mistakes. It requires you to face fears. But this is the price of leadership. You cannot lead yourself through the truth. You cannot lead others through challenge. So I want you to think, what is your strength? What is your weakness? What makes you different? What makes you unique? Don't try to be everything. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to be aware. Because once you know yourself deeply, you will never be shaken easily. You will walk with clarity. You will speak with confidence. You will act with authenticity. And people will follow you, not because you are flawless, but because you are real. That is the secret. Leadership starts with self-awareness. Without it, your blueprint remains hidden. With it, the blueprint begins to shine. So take the time. Look inside. Ask the hard questions. Face the honest answers, because the leader you are searching for is already within you. Creation creates direction. Let me tell you something that changed my life. A person without vision is like a traveler without a map. You may walk, you may run, you may work very hard, but without vision, you are just moving in circles. You will spend your energy, but you will never reach anywhere meaningful. This is why vision is the heartbeat of leadership. Leadership is not about how strong you are. Leadership is not about how rich you are. Leadership is not about how many people follow you. Leadership is about where you are going and why. Vision is the answer to the question, where are we going? When you have vision, you give direction. People may not agree with you at first. People may even laugh at you, but at least they know you are moving with purpose. Without vision, you are just reacting to life. Following trends, copying others, waiting for opportunities. But with vision, you create opportunities. You see the future before it comes. When I was young, nobody believed China could succeed in the internet. People said, the internet is only for America. It will never work here. At that time, almost nobody in China used email. Even I had no computer. But I had vision. I said to myself, one day, every small business in China will sell to the world using the internet. One day, the internet will connect people everywhere. One day, the internet will be part of daily life. Did I know how it would happen? No. Did I have the technology? No. Did I have the money? No. But I had the vision. And that vision gave me direction. With direction, I was able to gather people. I told my team, we don't have resources, but we have a dream. We don't have money, but we have a mission. If we keep walking toward this vision, one day we will make it real. And that is what happened. People did not follow me because I was rich. I was not. They did not follow me because I was smart. I was not. They followed me because I had vision. Vision is powerful because it gives hope. When people lose vision, they lose hope. They feel lost. They feel stuck. They feel life has no meaning. But when a leader brings vision, suddenly the future looks possible again. Suddenly the darkness has light. Suddenly the journey has meaning. And let me tell you, vision is not only for big companies or famous leaders. Vision is for everyone. A mother raising her children needs vision. What kind of future does she want for them? What kind of values does she want to teach? That is vision. A student studying in school needs vision. Why are you studying? Just for grades? Just for a certificate? Or to prepare yourself to make a difference? An employee working in a company needs vision. Are you working only for salary? Or are you working to build skills, to create impact, to grow into someone better? That is vision. Vision is not about big or small. Vision is about clarity. You see, money can give you comfort. Skills can give you opportunity. But only vision can give you direction. Think about driving a car. If you don't know where you're going, no matter how fast you drive, you are just wasting fuel. But if you know the destination, even if you drive slowly, every mile takes you closer. That is why vision is more important than speed. Many people in life are moving fast, but they are moving in the wrong direction. They are chasing trends, chasing fame, chasing what others are doing. At the end, they feel empty. Why? Because they had no vision of their own. So let me ask you, what is your vision? And let me make this clear. Vision is not just about what you want to achieve. Vision is about why you want to achieve it. When I started Alibaba, my vision was not just to make money. If money was my only goal, I would have given up many times because we were broke, we were struggling, we were laughed at. But my vision was bigger. I wanted to help small businesses. I wanted to give them a chance to sell beyond their village, beyond their city, beyond their country. I wanted to make the world fairer through the internet. That why gave me strength when everything else was weak. So if you want to unlock your leadership blueprint, you must find your vision. How do you find vision? First, look at your passion. What makes your heart beat faster? What problem makes you angry? What dream excites you? Passion is the seed of vision. Second, look at your values. What do you believe in? What kind of world do you want to see? Vision without values is just greed. Vision with values becomes mission. So look at your potential. What are you good at? What gifts do you have? Vision should connect with your unique strengths because that is where you can make the biggest impact. When passion, values, and potential come together, vision is born. And once vision is born, direction is clear. But let me warn you, vision is not easy. When you have vision, people will doubt you. They will say you are crazy. They will say it is impossible. It's normal. Every visionary faces resistance. But here is the secret. The clearer your vision, the less you care about the doubts. When I was raising money for Alibaba, I went to many investors. Almost all of them said no. They looked at me and said, "Jack, this idea will never work." If I had no vision, I would have believed them. I would have given up. But because I had vision, I told myself, maybe they don't see it now. But one day they will. And that kept me going. So don't expect your vision to be accepted immediately. Don't expect everyone to clap for you. Vision is not about applause today. Vision is about impact tomorrow. Another important thing, vision must be shared. If you keep your vision only in your head, it dies with you. A leader must communicate vision. A leader must paint the picture so clearly that others can see it too. When you speak about your vision, don't speak only with numbers. Speak with heart. People don't follow spreadsheets. People follow stories. People follow dreams. If you want others to believe, you must first believe deeply. Vision also requires patience. Some people think vision is instant. They want to see results tomorrow, but real vision takes time. It may take years, even decades, to see it come true. But the longer it takes, the stronger it becomes. So don't rush. Stay steady. Stay focused. Stay committed. Let me give you a picture. Imagine planting a bamboo seed. For years, nothing happens. You water it. You take care of it, but nothing grows above the ground. Then suddenly, after years of silence, the bamboo shoots up many meters in just weeks. That's vision. That seed looks invisible, but deep inside, it is taking root. And when the time is right, it explodes with growth. So don't give up on your vision just because you don't see results immediately. Trust the roots. Trust the process. And finally, remember this. Vision is not only about what you see. Vision is also about what others cannot see yet. Leaders see the invisible. Leaders hear the silent. Leaders believe the impossible. That is why they create new paths. So today, if you want to unlock your hidden leadership blueprint, you must begin with vision. Ask yourself, where am I going? Why am I going there? What future am I creating? Because leadership without vision is blind. But leadership with vision is unstoppable. Direction is destiny. And vision creates direction. So hold your vision. Protect your vision. Speak your vision. Live your vision. Because one day the world will see what only you could see at the beginning. That is the true power of leadership. Influence over authority. Let me tell you something very clearly. Leadership is not about how loud you shout. Leadership is not about how big your title is. Leadership is not about how much power you hold in your hands. True leadership is not built on authority. True leadership is built on influence. Authority is when people listen to you because they have to. Influence is when people listen to you because they want to. Authority can force people to work. Influence can inspire people to give their heart. And I will tell you this, authority has limits, but influence has no limits. When I was a young teacher, I had very little authority. I was not famous, I was not rich. I was just one small teacher in Hangzhou teaching English. But I realized something. If I only depend on authority, my students will never learn deeply. If I use fear, if I use punishment, they may obey me in class, but they will not love learning. So I stopped trying to control them. Instead, I tried to influence them. I told them stories. I encouraged them when they failed. I celebrated their small victories. I made them believe they could do more than they thought. And slowly, they began to love learning. Not because I forced them, but because I inspired them. That was the moment I understood. Influence is more powerful than authority. When I started Alibaba, I had no authority. I was not the richest. I was not the smartest. I could not order anyone to follow me. All I had was influence. So how did I build influence? I built it by believing in people when they did not believe in themselves. I built it by sharing a vision so clear that others wanted to be part of it. I built it by showing courage when everyone else felt afraid. That is what influence is. Influence is the ability to touch the heart, not just command the hands. Let me give you an example. Imagine two leaders. One says, do this because I said so. The other says, do this because together we can achieve something greater. Who do you think people will follow more passionately? The one with influence. Authority is like a soldier's uniform. When you wear it, people salute you. But when you take it off, nobody cares. Influence is like respect in the heart. Even when you have no uniform, people still listen. Now, how do you build influence? Number one, you build influence through trust. Trust is the foundation. Without trust, you cannot influence anyone. And trust comes from honesty, consistency, and humility. If you make promises, you must keep them. If you make mistakes, you must admit them. If you succeed, you must share credit. Number two, you build influence through example. People don't follow what you say, they follow what you do. If you want others to work hard, you must work harder. If you want others to stay positive, you must stay positive. If you want others to take risks first. Number 3, you build influence through encouragement. Every human being is hungry for encouragement. One kind word can change a person's life. When you encourage, you give people energy. You make them believe in themselves. And when people believe in themselves, they will go beyond limits. Let me tell you a story. When Alibaba was very small, we were facing huge competition. My team was tired, discouraged, ready to give up. At that time, if I used authority, I could shout, I could force them to keep working. But that would not last long. Instead, I told them, I believe in you. I believe in us. The world may not believe us now, but one day they will. Let's show them what we can do together. That speech gave them hope. That hope gave them strength. That strength made them continue. And that is influence. Another important thing, influence lasts longer than authority. Authority ends when your position ends. If you are a boss today, people obey you. But if you are not the boss tomorrow, people forget you. Influence continues even after you are gone. Think about people like Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa. They had influence not because of titles, but because of how they lived, how they inspired, how they touched hearts. They influence lives on even after they are no longer here. So if you want to unlock your leadership blueprint, don't chase authority. Chase influence. Now let me warn you. Authority is easier. Influence is harder. Authority is instant. You get a title, you get power, and people obey. Influence takes time. You must prove yourself again and again. You must invest in people. You must be patient. But here's the difference. Authority controls the present. Influence shapes the future. Authority says, I am the boss today. Influence says, even if I am not the boss tomorrow, people will still respect me, still remember me, still follow the lessons I gave. So, which do you want? I will tell you this. If you want to build a company, authority is enough. But if you want to build a movement, if you want to change lives, if you want to leave a legacy, then you must build influence. Let me give you some practical advice on building influence. First, listen deeply. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. When you listen, you show respect. When you listen, you understand. And when people feel understood, they open their hearts to you. Second, serve others. Leadership is service. The more you serve, the more you serve, the more influence you gain. Don't ask, what can I get from people? Ask, what can I give to people? Influence grows when you put others before yourself. Third, inspire through vision. Authority gives instructions. Influence gives inspiration. If you want people to go far, you must give them a reason beyond salary, beyond rules, beyond survival. That reason is vision. Fourth, be authentic. People can feel when you are fake. They can feel when you are pretending. Authority can hide weakness. But influence requires authenticity. When you are real, when you are honest, when you are human, people connect with you. Now let's compare authority and influence one more time. Authority is a push. Influence is a pull. Authority uses fear. Influence uses love. Authority ends at the office. Influence continues in the heart. Which one do you think creates better leaders? Always influence. And let me remind you, influence is not about being famous, it's about impact. You don't need millions of followers to have influence. If you can change one life, if you can inspire one person, you already have influence. Maybe you are a teacher inspiring your students. Maybe you are a parent guiding your children. Maybe you are a friend supporting someone in pain. That is influence, and that is leadership. Leadership is not measured by the number of people you control. Leadership is measured by the number of lives you touch. So today, I want you to stop asking, how can I get more power? And start asking, how can I create more influence? Because at the end of the day, people will not remember how many orders you gave. They will remember how you made them feel. They will not remember the size of your authority. They will remember the strength of your influence. And when your influence grows, your hidden leadership blueprint becomes visible to the world. So don't chase titles. Don't chase control. Don't chase fear. Chase trust. Chase respect. chase ambition, because true leadership is not authority over people. It is influence within people. And that influence can change the world. Resilience shapes great leaders. Let me tell you a secret that most people don't want to hear. Leadership is not built on comfort. Leadership is not built on easy days. Leadership is not built when everything is going well. Leadership is shaped in the fire of challenges. Leadership is shaped in the storm. Leadership is shaped through resilience. Resilience means the ability to keep standing when life knocks you down. Resilience means the ability to rise again when the world tells you to stay down. Resilience means the ability to smile in pain, to fight in weakness, to believe when everything looks impossible. Without resilience, your leadership blueprint will remain hidden. With resilience, your leadership blueprint will shine brighter with every test. When I was young, I failed many times. I failed my school exams. I failed to enter good universities. I applied for jobs 30 times and was rejected 3 times. Even KFC rejected me. They hired 23 people out of 24, and I was the only one rejected. At that time, I had 2 choices. I could say the world is unfair. I am unlucky. I should stop trying. Or I could say, this is not the end. This is just another test. If I keep trying, one day I will succeed. I chose resilience. And because of that choice, every rejection became training. Every failure became preparation. Every setback became a stepping stone. Resilience is what shapes leaders. Let me explain why. When you are a leader, people look at you in the most difficult times. They don't look at you when everything is easy. They look at you when the storm comes. They watch how you react. They watch if you panic, if you give up, or if you stay calm and keep moving. If you give up, they give up. If you panic, they panic. But if you stay strong, if you stand tall, if you keep believing, they will follow you through the storm. That is why resilience is more important than intelligence. Resilience is more important than resources. Resilience is more important than luck. Because without resilience, everything else collapses. Think of bamboo. In the storm, a big tree may fall because it is too rigid. But bamboo bends. Bamboo is flexible. Bamboo survives the storm because it knows how to endure. That is resilience. And that is leadership. Resilience also gives you creativity. When you face problems again and again, you learn to think differently. You learn to find new solutions. You learn to adapt. Many companies closed their doors. People said we would not survive. But we did something different. We sent our employees home with computers and told them, work from your houses. We will continue. At that time, working from home was not common in China. Many people thought it was impossible. But because we were resilient, we adapted. We found a way. That experience made our company stronger. And later, when COVID-19 came many years after, that same spirit of resilience helped us again. So you see, resilience is not only about survival, it is about transformation. Every crisis that does not destroy you makes you stronger. Every storm that does not break you makes you unshakable. Another important point, resilience is contagious. When a leader shows resilience, the team becomes resilient. When a parent shows resilience, the children become resilient. When a teacher shows resilience, the students become resilient. Your resilience is not only for you, it is for everyone watching you. That is why you must be careful. If you complain, others will complain. If you give up, others will give up. But if you keep fighting, others will fight with you. Resilience is not about never feeling pain. Resilience is about continuing even in pain. It is about saying, yes, I am tired. Yes, I am hurt. Yes, I am afraid. But I will not stop. This is the mark of a true leader. Let me give you practical ways to practice resilience. First, remember your why. Why are you doing what you are doing? If your why is strong, no challenge can stop you. If your why is weak, even small problems will defeat you. Second, surround yourself with the right people. Resilience is stronger in community. When you fall, the right people lift you. When you are weak, the right people encourage you. Leaders are not alone. They build resilient teams. Third, take care of yourself. Resilience is not only mental, it is also physical and emotional. Sleep, health balance, these are important. You cannot be resilient if you are exhausted, if you are broken inside. A true leader protects their energy so they can keep going for the long run. Fourth, celebrate small victories. Every step forward is a win. Don't wait for big success to feel proud. Resilience grows when you recognize progress, no matter how small. Now let me remind you, resilience is a choice. Some people give up quickly. Some people stand strong. The difference is choice. Every day you can choose to complain or you can choose to continue. Every day you can choose to be defeated or you can choose to fight again. I chose resilience many times in my life. That is why I am here today. If you want to unlock your leadership blueprint, you must also choose resilience, because life will test you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will fight against you. But if you stay resilient, nothing can stop you. At the end of the day, leadership is not measured by how many times you succeed. Leadership is measured by how many times you rise after falling. So remember, resilience shapes great leaders. Every rejection you face, every failure you endure, every obstacle you overcome, it is not breaking you, it is carving out the leader inside you. Don't run from challenges. Embrace them. Don't fear failure. Don't give up in pain. Grow through it. Because the greatest leaders are not the ones who never fall. The greatest leaders are the ones who never stay down. And that is why resilience is the heart of leadership. Communication builds bridges. Let me tell you something very simple but very powerful. Leaders are not only people who think big. Leaders are people who can make others believe in what they think. And how do you do that? You do it through communication. Communication is the bridge between your vision and other people's understanding. Communication is the bridge between your heart and the hearts of others. Communication is the bridge between an idea and the action that follows it. Without communication, even the best idea dies. Without communication, even the strongest vision fades. Without communication, even the greatest leader remains alone. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you cannot communicate, your intelligence will not matter. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you cannot explain it clearly, no one will follow. You can carry the brightest fire in your soul, but if you cannot express it, no one will see the light. That is why communication is not just a skill. Communication is a foundation of leadership. Now, when I say communication, I don't just mean talking. Talking is easy. Communication is deeper. Communication means connecting. Communication means making people feel that you understand them, that you care for them, that you are with them. Leaders are not remembered for how loudly they spoke. Leaders are remembered for how clearly they connected. When I started Alibaba, I was not rich, I was not strong, I was not powerful. But I had one thing, the ability to communicate my dream. I told my team, we will build a company that makes it easy to do business anywhere. We will help small businesses. We will create opportunity for ordinary people. And I said it again and again and again. At first they were unsure. At first they doubted it, thought it was impossible. But because I kept communicating with passion, with clarity, with belief, they began to believe too. That is the power of communication. Now let me explain the elements of powerful communication for leaders. The first element is clarity. If your message is complicated, people will not understand. All goes there. If people cannot understand, they cannot follow. A leader must learn to make things simple. Simple words, simple vision, simple direction. Complexity confuses. Simplicity unites. The second element is authenticity. People do not follow perfect speeches. People follow honest voices. When you speak with your true heart, people can feel it. They may not agree with everything, but they will respect you. Authentic communication builds trust. The third element is listening. Most people think communication is about speaking, but leaders know communication is more about listening. If you don't listen, you don't know what people need. If you don't listen, you cannot solve real problems. If you don't listen, your words will have no power. The fourth element is emotion. Facts inform, but emotions inspire. Logic makes people think, but emotion makes people act. If you want to move people, you must speak to their hearts. not only their minds. A true leader knows how to touch emotions, not manipulate them, but connect with them. The fifth element is consistency. Leaders do not change their message every day. Leaders keep repeating the vision, the values, the mission, until people cannot forget. Repetition is not boring, it is powerful. It makes the vision sink deep. And the sixth element is action. The strongest communication is not with words, but with example. If your actions do not match your words, people will stop listening. But if your actions confirm your words, your communication becomes unstoppable. Now let me give you some stories. When I traveled the world to build partnerships for Alibaba, many times people laughed at me. They said, "You are from China, with no resources, no background, no support. Why should we believe you?" I did not have money to impress them. I did not have power to influence them. But I had communication. I spoke with passion about the future of e-commerce. I spoke with belief about the power of small businesses. I spoke with confidence about the opportunity of the internet. Some said no, but some said yes. And with every yes, the bridge grew stronger. This is how communication builds bridges. Another example, when we faced hard times inside the company, I would gather the team. I would speak honestly about the challenges. I would not hide the truth. But I would also remind them of our vision, of our purpose, of our strength. Many times they came into the room worried, but they left with courage. Not because the problems disappeared, but because the communication built strength in their hearts. That is the role of communication for leaders. It turns fear into courage. It turns doubt into individuals into a team. Let me also tell you, communication is not about perfect English, or perfect grammar, or perfect style. I was never the best in English. I made many mistakes, but my communication was strong because it was real. I spoke with sincerity. I spoke with energy. I spoke with belief. That is what people felt. So don't think you need to be perfect to communicate. You just need to be true. Now, let me share with you some practical steps to improve your leadership communication. Step 1. Know your message. Before you speak, ask yourself, what is the one thing I want people to remember? If you don't know your message, they will not know either. Step 2. Practice storytelling. People remember stories more than facts. Share real experiences. Share struggles. Share victories. Stories are bridges that connect hearts. Step 3. Observe your audience. Communication is not one size fits all. When you speak to young people, use their language. When you speak to professionals, use their context. When you speak to your team, use their daily reality. A leader adjusts the message to fit the listener. Step 4. Ask questions. Don't just give speeches. Ask questions. When you ask, you invite people to join the conversation. Communication is stronger when it is two-way. Step 5. Use silence when speaking. But silence can be powerful. Silence gives weight to your words. Silence gives people time to think. Silence can build connection. Step 6. Believe in what you say. If you don't believe your own words, nobody else will. Communication is not only about the mouth, it is about the heart. Speak from conviction. Now let me remind you again. Communication builds bridges. Bridges connect people. Bridges create movement. Bridges make the impossible possible. Look at history. Great leaders were great communicators. They did not have social media. They did not have technology. They had words. They had stories. They had voices. And with those voices, they built nations, inspired generations, changed the world. So don't underestimate your words. Don't underestimate your voice. Don't underestimate the power of communication. If you want to unlock your leadership blueprint, you must learn to build bridges with communication. Because leadership is not a solo journey. Leadership is about people. And people only move when they understand and believe. When you speak, speak with clarity. When you listen, listen with patience. When you connect, connect with honesty. When you inspire with passion. This is how leaders communicate. And remember, every bridge you build with communication becomes a pathway for your vision to walk into reality. So from today, decide to strengthen your communication. Decide to speak with courage. Decide to listen with empathy. Decide to connect with authenticity. Because one word can build trust. One story can ignite hope. One conversation can change a life. And when you master the art of communication, you will not just lead, you will build bridges that carry people, dreams, and futures forward. That is why communication builds bridges, and that's why communication shapes leaders. Action turns potential into reality. Let me share something very important with you today. You can have big dreams. You can have smart ideas. You can have strong potential. But without action, nothing will change. Potential without action is like a seed left in a drawer. It has life inside it, but it will never grow. It will never become a tree. It will never bear fruit. Action is what transforms hidden potential into visible impact. Action is the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become tomorrow. Many people have dreams. Many people have ideas. Many people have talent, but only a few take consistent action. And those few are the ones who change their lives, their companies, their communities, and sometimes even the world. So if you want to unlock your leadership blueprint, you must understand this truth. Leadership is not discovered by thinking. Leadership is proven by doing. When I started Alibaba, we had no money, no technology, no power, but we had action. Every day we took small steps. Every day we did something, no matter how small. One call, one meeting, one improvement, one decision. We moved, we acted. It was not a perfection. It was about progress. Many times we failed. Many times we were rejected. Many times we felt hopeless, but we kept taking action. And slowly, step by step, action turned our potential into reality. That is why I say, action is the foundation of leadership. Now let me explain why action is so important. The first reason is clarity comes from action. Many people wait until everything is clear before they act. But the truth is, clarity comes after you act, not before. When you take action, you learn. When you learn, you adjust. When you adjust, you improve. If you wait for perfect clarity, you will wait forever. The second reason is confidence grows from action. People think they need confidence before they act. No, confidence comes after action. When you take small steps, you prove to yourself that you can do it. That proof builds confidence. Every action is a vote of confidence in yourself. The third reason is opportunities open through action. Opportunities don't knock on your door when you sit and dream. Opportunities come when you move. When you take action, new doors appear. New people notice you. New chances arrive. The fourth reason is momentum builds with action, creates energy, creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Once you start moving, things begin to flow. But if you don't move, nothing happens. The fifth reason is respect comes from action. People don't follow words, they follow deeds. They don't trust promises, they trust action. As a leader, your actions speak louder than your speeches. This is why action is not optional. Action is the key. Let me give you a story. When we started, I told my team, we will help small businesses. We will create a platform for them. They looked at me and said, how? I said, I don't know exactly, but let's begin. We did not wait for the perfect plan. We acted. We tried. We experimented. Some things failed. Some things worked. But every action taught us something new. We had waited for the perfect plan. Alibaba would not exist today. That is the lesson. Action beats perfection. Many people get trapped in what I call analysis by analysis. They think and think. They plan and plan and plan. But they never start. And because they never start, they never succeed. Leaders are different. Leaders are people who take the first step even when they don't see the whole road. Leaders are people who say, I don't have everything, but I have something, and I will begin with that. Action does not mean reckless jumping. Action means consistent progress. Even small action is powerful. Think about water drops. One drop is small, but many drops together can break a rock. Small actions every day can create a powerful result. That is why I tell young people, don't wait for big opportunities. Start small. Do something today. Learn, grow, improve. That's how you build your future. Principles of taking effective action as a leader. Principle 1, start before you're ready. If you wait until you're ready, you will never start. Leaders step forward even when they feel unprepared. Principle 2, take responsibility. Don't wait for others to move first. Don't blame the government, the economy, or the environment. Leaders act with what they have where they are. Principle 3, fail fast, learn fast. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Every action will not succeed, but every action will teach you. Failure is not the opposite of success. Principle 4, stay consistent. For instance, start action is not about one big effort. Action is about small efforts every day. Leaders keep moving, even when they feel tired, even when they see no immediate results. Principle 5, measure and improve. Action without reflection is wasted. After every step, ask what worked, what didn't, what can I do better? Improvement turns action into mastery. Principle 6, align action with vision. Not every action is valuable. Leaders act with purpose. Every step should move you closer to your vision. Action inspires others. When your team sees you taking action, they will follow. When your family sees you working hard, they will be motivated. When your community sees your actions, they will believe in your vision. Words may touch ears, but actions touch hearts. One of my favorite sayings is, vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. A leader must combine both. Have the vision to know where you are going and the action to move toward it every day. Now let me ask you, how many dreams have you delayed because you are waiting? Waiting for money, waiting for support, waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect plan. The truth is, the right time is now. The perfect plan does not exist. The only way to move forward is to act today. When I look back at my life, I see one thing clearly. I was never the smartest. I was never the strongest, but I was someone who kept acting. That is why I achieved what many thought was impossible. So remember this, action is the great equalizer. You may not have talent, but if you act, you can win. You may not have resources, but if you act, you can build. You may not have support, but if you act, you can create. Potential is everywhere, but results come only to those who act. Let me finish with some advice to you. If you have an idea, write it down. If you have a goal, break it into steps. If you have a step, take it today. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't doubt. Because leadership is not in theory. Leadership is in action. Leaders don't just talk about change. Leaders don't just dream about the future. Leaders take action and create change. Leaders take action and build the future. So from today, promise yourself this. You will not let your potential sleep. You will not let your dreams stay in your mind. You will take action. You will move forward. You will begin. Because the world is not changed by dreamers. The world is changed by doers. And when you act, when you keep acting, when you never stop acting, your hidden leadership blueprint will not only be unlocked, it will be visible for everyone to see. That is why action turns potential into reality. And that is why action is the ultimate proof of leadership. My friends, you already carry inside you a hidden leadership blueprint. Your values, your vision, your resilience, your voice, your actions. But a blueprint is useless if it stays on paper. She is useless if it stays in your pocket. Leadership is not about waiting for the perfect moment. Leadership is about deciding that this moment is the one. Leadership is not about becoming someone else. Leadership is about becoming the best version of yourself. So today, I invite you to stop waiting, stop holding back. Take the key, open the door, step into the leader you were meant to be. Because the world does not need more titles. The world does not need more positions. The world needs leaders who are self-aware, visionary, resilient communicators, and above all, leaders who take action. Your hidden leadership blueprint is ready. The question is, are you ready to unlock it today?